Hey guys, welcome back again. Continuing to work on this G master lift situation. If you recall to last week I was finishing up taking off this old master lift and the front toolbar carrier. Its pieces are all laying all over the place. And here we are continuing again, but this time we're gonna add this post 49 master lift up here. I'm gonna come and bring you over here to the workbench really quick. So this is the parts catalog of what we're about to put together here. I just ran to Runnings this morning and picked up all the carriage bolts and washers for the mounting on the tubes. I've had in the past like the mix matching of random sizes and all over the place, so I finally am like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right and make it right, hopefully. So we're gonna try to get this frame piece up on there. We're gonna refer back to the manual of where we should put it, how to set it. And I'm gonna put that all together. Then I'm gonna start working on taking apart this handle and putting that handle on the top there. So let's go. Let's start seeing if we can start hooking some things up and mounting around the tube. And let's see if by the end of the day here, we can get a working master lift again. I don't think I'm gonna have time to jump in with the rear lift. I think the rear lift's gonna be the next episode. So let's get this done here and let's get rocking and rolling. So here we go, starting to put it together. We have the spring hooked back on here, just laying up. I'm gonna set you right here. I'm gonna run to the other side. Gonna start here with our first one. We gotta take some nuts and washers off. Oh, lost one. Spin it under. Again, right now I'm not too concerned about trying to get the right mounting piece to it. I just want to get the carriage bolts and brackets onto it, and then we can adjust our distance from the bottom as we go. So hopefully it kind of makes sense, I guess. We're just trying to dry fit it. Then once it's on, then we're going to really put it into place of where we got to be. So the left side's on here. Again, not too crazy hard. The next piece here, whoa, bouncing around. We got to get this lift bracket with one of these on. Gotta take this off. With the right hand side, we do have to put this loop on, the ratchet loop, the catch, and then we got to put this one brace bar back on as well. Let me get this started here. Put that there. Line some stuff up. Over there. Come over the top. A little bit of rotational adjustment. Drop it in here. Gotta get one to start. That's one. Whoa. Gotta get the one to start. All right, we're back. There was a little bit of struggling, some few choice words said, but we're getting closer here. This might be a two-man job. I'm trying to do it with one man right now. This front one here was a big pain in the butt. Try to keep this all lined up to get it square in there. But we did it. Woohoo! So now we got this last piece to put on here. The last clamp. And remember how I told you before, we got to get our metal bar across here as well. So push this in. Set this one on. This one can start being tightened right away. Then we gotta put this metal bar on down here. Keep everything together. So this is, in short, how to put that master lift on with some struggling, like there always is. And I'm not going to tighten everything down yet because I got to show you now how to set this forward backwards so it gets you the pull that you need and to be able to put that tool carrier under here. Because now I have this shifted so far down that we got to try to pull back this way a little bit. But let me show you how to set that right now. Well, after a brief delay, I just realized that right here, if we look over at the parts book, could put stuff a little closer, that there's supposed to be another flat piece of metal, a little plate. Well, I'm looking, I'm like, gosh, I didn't have any with this other pile. I'm like, maybe I don't have one. Pays to have a junk pile, folks. Here it is. I went and dug for a little bit back in the shed. Looks like that piece will fit right there. So I'm gonna put this piece in, and then finally, let's start talking about how to set this back. So here everything's kind of set up. I got everything in place. I'm going to take this lift arm piece off and start working on that in a second here. But actually we're going to take this piece off right here. What are we going to do? How do we measure this? Well, in the book it says from this welded piece here all the way to the center of the shaft should be 17 inches. So that's where we have it set right now. Let me see if I can balance it here. There, kind of balanced maybe. And where we're going, I was just taking my tape measure from that welded mark all the way back here. Seems to be 15. And then I came to this other side, which I think the steering column is going to block your view. It is. And be right about 15 as well. So that's where we're at. So now we're going to work to try to take this piece off. Something down in here. Come down here. Something down in here is catching. Not wanting to go all the way. So I want to pull all this piece off anyways to try to get the new lift put on it, or the new lift handle I should say. So we got to take some pieces from that other side maybe, I don't know. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this cotter key out a little higher up to try to work to get this bar somewhat free, or at least spun around so it's off the shaft itself here. I loosened up this nut on this back side already. Just gonna set that over there. I'm just gonna kind of work to try to get this dug out here. Looks like we're almost out. Yep, using tools as they're meant to be used, as non-tools. It looks pretty corrody on the inside. Let's see here, it's almost out. Gotta be almost out. There we go. So that's our weird little cut in half carriage bolt. I'm gonna set that over there. And this should just all pull out. And that's what the internal pieces look like here. Two little teeth that lock in. Be able to get our locking piece. But I'm going to take this apart, go clean it up on the bench here a little bit, and see if I can get it to be moving a little freer. So we're over here on the bench with it. All I'm going to do here is I got a little plastic layer wheel to try to clean some of the muck. Let's try to clean some gunk off, then we'll put some new grease in. The other piece too is looking here. That maybe on the inside here, I was going to try to pull some of this off. Pull it out just a little bit. Not going to take it all the way apart. It's not a full-on restoration, but just trying to pull it out, clean it up a little bit here. All right, so let's go put this back in. I'm going to go put a little bit of grease on these two and see if that moves it a little bit better. So we're back over here. I'm going to put a little bit of goop on each side here, just so we have a little bit more. I'm going to dip a little bit on my fingers here. Just trying to put a little bit of lubrication in this. Over time, naturally metal is going to rust and corrode. And that's where I think we're starting to have happen here a little bit. I'm going to put a couple dollops in there. A couple dollops in there. And maybe one or two on this front side. I know it's not the ultimate play to do it like this, but you know what? That's how I'm doing it. So just trying to put a little bit on there. We'll get everything back in here again. I know it will probably collect dirt and grease and all that other fun stuff as I get going here throughout the season. But like I said, I gotta get so it starts moving a little bit here. Because right now it was not moving, they were not pulling each other up. That seemed to pull a little bit better. Okay. Alrighty, so that other thing was starting to kick my butt, and I realized, why don't I just take this off right away, this handle piece here, and try to get that leverage piece added to it. So the top one is a carriage bolt, 9/16. Okay, that's coming off. Nice. And another one here. Whoa, fumble. 7/16. Oh, right. I'm gonna need one for the bottom. 7/16 for both. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Oh, wrong way. There we go. So we're gonna pull these off, and we're gonna go put it on that handle over there right away. I know I got these nasty, whoa, rusty, trusty bolts right now, but if it works, I'm gonna go over and grab some new ones here. Okay, let's go see if it works and go bring it back over there. Alrighty, so back to where we were with this whole junk here, trying to get fixed and see if it'll move. So I took the liberty, I forgot to film it, but it was the same as the reverse. We put this carriage bolt in the top, put this one in, hand up, pulls it, locks it. Gonna get that locking all the way up and down. I think there's a little bit of some needing to lube up some of my pieces down here. It looks like this piece is still loose, so I gotta try to get figured out. But one thing I had was the spring. I told you how to hook the spring early on. I don't think I would hook the spring actually the next time. I think I would leave everything loose and not even have this there, because I had to keep going under here, adjusting and pulling this back. But the only other thing I'm gonna do with this, probably off camera, is I'm gonna take that drill impact over there and clean this with that little plastic wire wheel. I might try to find some washers, put some washers in this to take up this play a little bit. But other than that, I'm gonna hit these two here, these two, make sure this is all tight. Again, put some washers up there. I'm gonna tighten up the spring a little bit, and we're done. The master lift, the post 49 is hooked up to this. The next piece I'm gonna work on here is putting this other bar over on that G, taking that bar, putting it on this G, and putting these scissor lifts back on for our master tool carrier. I'm gonna do all that off camera because I'm gonna do some stuff with these master tool carriers coming up. So don't fret. I got to rebuild a set for that G over there. That's what I want to talk about there. I think the next episode, we're going to start tackling some of that pile. See if some of that pile will fit here or over there. But thanks again. You can find us on Facebook at Schubel Bauernhof. Don't forget, like I said in that last video, I am starting this online kind of compilation of Allis Chalmers G stuff on the Allis Chalmers G project. It's a website. It's on the description below. And thank you again. See you next time. Getting this rear loop put on. Never had one before, so it's going to be a challenge. And the pile of parts we have, holy cow, folks. I think we're going to dig into another spot of what's happening up there, happening there. Trying to figure out which one of these arms look a little bit better. Trying to figure out this rivet situation. Might just probably put a bolt in. I don't know. Fun stuff. Again, though. See you next time. Thanks for watching.